closed my first $10,000 job, and then a week later, I closed a client on the spot in another city. Within 30 minutes of meeting him, I closed him for $22,000.
What's up, guys? This is Keith Kelvis. I'm excited right now. We're doing a case study video with my friend Dylan Brannon right now. And this guy's a young landscaper, 24 years old, who is about to do $1 million in 2021. He actually started his landscaping business watching my videos on YouTube. Then he came to my live event, and this was what, 2018 at my live event.
Yep.
And this dude's got motivation, he's got hustle, he's got so much energy, and I'm like even proud of this dude, and on track to do $1 million in hardscaping, landscaping, all around lawn care and landscaping in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Dylan Brannon, dude, what is up? And he's got some stuff he wants to share with you, but I want to hear your story, bro.
Absolutely.
'Cause this is inspiring. So tell me about your business and how you got started, man.
So I got started. You guys want to know how I got started? I started watching YouTube. That's where it all started. And who popped up on the videos first? It was you. I started watching your videos first, and I just loved the way that you connected through the camera. It was almost like you were talking to me in person, but you were on video. So I started watching your videos. I already had the idea. I knew I wanted to get into lawn, landscape, pavers, and trees, but I didn't know where to start. So I came across your videos, started watching them, and I just loved your energy and loved everything about what you were promoting through there. And I didn't know one thing. I didn't know nothing, how to operate chainsaws. I didn't know how to operate mowers or what equipment to use, or equipment to buy, trucks, trailers, nothing. I knew absolutely zero when I started about 3.5 years ago. And so when I watched that first couple of videos, I started getting the knowledge to basically start. To start making things happen. Come up with the name, come up with the logo, insurance, all the admin stuff, the business license, and I actually had all that stuff done. Logos, LLC, insurance, all that stuff before I even started. Like before I had one piece of equipment or one client or anything, I already had the administrative back end stuff.
That's dope.
Done before I actually bought my first piece of equipment.
Now, how long from when you were doing lawn care and then some landscaping, what was the point where, because I ran into you at the GIE Expo,
yeah,
and you were like dialed in, focused, saying, no, I'm here to take the classes and get certified and doing pavers and all that. And then I noticed I saw you were at Grant Cardone's event, absorbing all his content. You're hanging out with guys like Tigran, and you just, tell me about that.
Okay. So
in the guts and to take the chance and leap up to the next level, how did you pull all that together?
Well, it started by taking the leap. When I watched your video of you, with your first event, promoting your first event to go to, you said on the video, you have to be here. You have to be here. I was watching that while I was driving over the bridge in my car, and I was thinking, this is a calling. So that's where it all started. I flew myself out to that event, and it was a life-changing experience. I needed that. That was I guess you could say, that was the start to knowing I need to put myself in the right environments around the right people, and then I will learn along the way. And so from that first event, I knew that it was possible. I could fly out somewhere, I could be all by myself and be a grown adult and meet people and learn things.
You were one of the youngest guys at the event. My event's the Marketing ROI Live Workshop, and there was some awesome heavy hitters in the room that were teaching how to automate the sales and marketing in your service business. And I remember Dylan in the front row taking notes, and I said nobody can record anything on camera, so we have cameras here. My guy Quentin Howell's filming, and he snuck the GoPro camera. He's filming anyways like a jackass, and I went by and I yanked the camera and I took the chip out, and he was like, but it's just because I didn't want everybody else doing it. But then he came up to me and you apologized. It wasn't even about that. It was like, you're a rule breaker, bro. So what about the guys who want to get started or take their business to the next level, but they're just afraid and stuck? They're terrified of failure. Where I see a guy like you you're breaking the rules and taking chances and you're succeeding. Like you just bought this amazing truck. You're posting pictures on Instagram of the dump trailer and these beautiful jobs you're doing.
Yeah, I actually just bought another business too. I bought out another lawn care company and basically just added the clientele to mine, and had to get more equipment for my guys and bring on more employees, and a new secretary starting next week. So there's a lot of things going on with the lawn and landscaping side, but it was a tough start. But once I knew that there's no reward unless you take the risk, then I started to just. It's all about the circumstances too, because there's people that have kids, there's people that have responsibilities that they can't just take the risk and leave something behind, whether it's an animal or family or friends that they have to take care of or whatnot. For me, I don't have a wife or children or anything like that. So in my situation, I was able to just take as much risk as possible, because in my mind, I'm like, if I lose everything, what did I really lose? I didn't risk my family or risk my, friendships or anything like that. I just took the risk. And
but I also see you're taking calculated, educated risk. You're paying to go to like the 10X GrowthCon.
Yep.
You're getting around guys who make 10 times the amount of money and have had all the setbacks and failures. You're breaking bread and eating meals and getting these life-changing conversations one-on-one.
Yep. And
you're working your ass off and going and investing your hard-earned money to go meet these people and take these courses and do all that, right?
Yeah, so there's a couple things behind that. They say that you are who you hang with, right? So if you're hanging around a bunch of drug dealers or a bunch of junkies, you're going to be a junkie. You're going to become a drug dealer. The force basically the energy that those environments bring is really bad when you put yourself around it, and you ultimately get sucked into that. So what I started to notice is I started to put myself around people like you and people that watched you, and people like Tigran and Grant Cardone, and people that wanted to change their life and get away from that lifestyle and get away from those types of people and those types of environments. That was a really big thing for me, was just realizing, if I hang around the same people and hang around the same environments, and I don't take the risk and go and leave and put myself in it, make myself uncomfortable, then I won't grow and I won't progress. So that was a really big thing. And once I started to realize that, put myself around your event and meet people there, go to the GIE, meet people there, met Tigran, put myself in that group, and the people that are doing 5-10 times more than me, it really started to eye open. Basically, your network is your net worth. So the bigger your network, the bigger your net worth. It just ultimately folds up to that.
Dude, that's super dope.
Yeah.
And the jobs that you were starting out with, 3 to 7 grand, and then you grew up to 15 to 30.
To 30.
And what are the larger size jobs you're taking now? Turning people's backyards into these beautiful scapes.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that.
So the first job I actually started with, this is before I had any piece of equipment. I had zero money, and all I had was a Ram 1500 and I invested all my time and money into, at the time, the LLC, the logo, getting everything set up on the administrative side, because I didn't want to go back and deal with that. So I wanted to get that knocked out the way first. Got that. I didn't have any equipment. The hurricane just blew through my town, and I had everything I needed approved for the LLC, all that stuff. And I went door knocking after the hurricane blew through. Ended up knocking on this apartment door, and it happened to be the owner of the whole complex. And I was like, hey ma'am, I noticed your trees are screwed up out here and there's debris everywhere. Is there any way that I can trim them up or clean them up for you? She's like, yeah, absolutely. Give me a quote. And at the time, I didn't know how to quote. I didn't know what I was charging. I was just watching Keith's videos, and I took in a couple tips that actually helped me out in the long run. I charged her $600 for that job, and it took me probably a good day to do it. But I took in a tip that I learned from your video, which jump-started me, and it was to always collect a deposit, before you start the job. And that's how I got enough money to buy the chainsaw to actually do the job. And it wasn't even the right chainsaw either, right? So the job was $600. I got a 50% deposit, so she gave me $300. I have no equipment at this point. I do my research on what saw to buy. I bought, a two-handed 20-inch Echo chainsaw, and I was cutting up these trees on a ladder, trimming them with a 20-inch two-handed saw.
Don't do that.
And wrong saw for the job, but after the job, I had the chainsaw and I had $300 in my pocket. So now I actually have a piece of equipment and I have money in my pocket to now go and figure out what equipment I need for the next project, or, just to reinvest back into t-shirts or a hat or something, and then that's where it all started. The rest was history from there. So,
and that's awesome. So, and back to my question again, from the point when you started doing $3,000 to $7,000 jobs,
yeah,
what was that transition like to where you started jumping up to $20,000 and $30,000 hardscape jobs?
Yep.
How did you make that specific leap?
Jump. Yeah, absolutely. It was really all the sales tactics and just sales training that I learned from grants, like boot camps, going to those. Because a lot of people, you're going into it from what you learn from other people, and that might not be the best training, and with Grant's system and basically everything he promotes in his programs and whatnot, it offers a sort of a base, like how you go to school to learn something. It was like a school
Absolutely.
for sales, and I just learned how to get really good at selling myself and my company and my products, and charging more. That was another thing I picked up from you, is not booking myself up and just being completely slam packed with work with low profit jobs, because I would give you like the lowest price just to get the job. I started to charge more and was in a position to where I could deny jobs, and I've denied a lot more than I've actually got. But my schedule and my job portfolio is booked out with high profit work. So I went from the sales training and all that stuff. That was really what helped jump from that really $500 to $1,000 project, maybe $500 to $3,000 project range. And at the time, with my first $3,000 project, it was like everything in the world to me. And it's like, it was like how the $600 job was. When I first got that $600 job, I was like, nothing else matters. I was like, so pumped to actually get the job done. But then it turned into $3,000 and then $5,000, and then I closed my first $10,000 job. And this is learning tips along the way from people that are doing better than me. Closed my first $10,000 job, and then a week later, I closed a client on the spot in another city. Within 30 minutes of meeting him, I closed him for $22,000 on paper.
Let's go, dude.
And then it was crazy from there, because
That's
I knew
sweet.
what I was capable of after I closed that first deal.
You knew what you were capable of because you did it.
Yep.
And you had the results.
Yep.
That's sweet.
So it was definitely a big jump from there.
Is these moments where you like question your worth, but then you actually go out and do the thing, you have the results, and now it's irrefutable. You can't even deny because you just did it and you're doing it, and then you like level up, right?
There's no excuses at that point.
That's dope.
Because a lot of the time we like to give ourselves excuses or let the other side of our head talk us out of certain things. And but once you actually put yourself there and you do it, now it's all about how can I repeat this as many times as possible, and get better at it too. You will progressively get better at it.
That's sweet. And now what's like the biggest jobs you're closing right now and getting them all done?
I've had a couple like $50 to $60, maybe $70,000 jobs on the line, and those are still, I'm waiting to hear back from them. But my biggest job to this date was probably around $40,000. And for me, I see all these other guys that I'm around, younger guys too, that are doing, $100,000, $200,000 projects.
Who are those two kids you were telling me? Well, they're teenagers. They're like 17. You were bragging about these guys?
Yeah, so it's they're 16, 17 years old. They actually joined this group that I was a part of when they were 15. Started with a four-wheeler and pulling a little trailer on the back with a lawnmower. And they went from that to now having, 8, 9 trucks, 13 to 15 employees, all without having their license to start too. They just used the resources. It was like kind of like chess, it's a game of chess, not checkers. And just, knowing the secrets that you learn from being around other people.
That's sweet.
But they went from that to last year, I think they closed roughly around $2 million in sales. And
That's
then
amazing.
They're on their way now to do $5 million in sales.
So you have all this proof around you because you congregate.
Yep.
You congregate with people that are doing this every day.
Yep.
So
And it makes me feel like I'm not doing anything, because these younger guys are, doing way more than me. But one thing that I've noticed is they are less distracted. you know, and they don't have as much habits that I've, you know, grown up, you know, creating for myself. So they have, when they started young doing that and being around people like I'm around, they have all the time in the world to focus on their craft and not be distracted by girls or drugs or alcohol or video games or movies. Like, they just focus all their attention on going to those events and being around people that are doing better than them. And it really cuts out a lot of time that they have to learn. You know what I'm saying? Going through all the habits and bad experiences and all that stuff. That's really helpful.
That's a huge point. And there's a saying that I love: where you will be in 5 years is directly associated or correlated with the people you associate with, the books that you read, and the difficult conversations you're willing to have. Whether that's being with, you know, telling people around you no, or healthy boundaries, or having conversations with clients. And
yep.
It's like, that's so true, man. So what's this thing? You're doing multiple businesses now. You got this No Limit Network.
Yep.
Tell me about that. That's sweet.
Yeah, there's a couple things going on.
I saw you doing real estate too on Instagram.
Yep.
You are closing deals and
yeah,
rehabbing houses, man.
And it's all about learning from the people that are doing more than me. I mean, that's all it is just studying people that are more successful than you are, and then modeling them or taking in these pieces of information and then inputting it and making your own thing out of it. But a couple different businesses that I have going on. The business side of things, I have the lawn and landscape company, which I've done very well. Mm-hmm. You know, in my eyes, I've done very well in the short amount of time that I started it. Went from not knowing anything about business, not knowing anything about sales, not knowing anything about real estate 3.5 years ago, to now I have a business it's already produced multiple 6 figures, and it's now on its way to reach a 7-figure mark. The second business that I have, which is a junk removal and dumpster rental company, you know, I just threw down big on that. The setup that I invested, you know, no risk, no reward. The setup that I invested on that business cost $60,000, and in the back of my head, there's that thought: is this going to work or not? You know, but I have faith in myself and my ability from what I've proved myself into the other company that it's going to work tenfold, and I'm going to need more dumpsters, and I'm going to need more people and more trucks, and I just know where it's going to go. So that's the other business that I have. And then I got some real estate, and then the No Limit. So business, real estate, and then my brand. And basically the real estate side of things it's all multifamily. And I actually learned how to buy that deal through watching Grant's videos. You know,
for free on YouTube.
For free on YouTube, late at night.
Grant Cardone.
2-3 in the morning, just watching all of his videos. And I actually learned how to buy the first deal that I bought, and he just preaching it, and clicked. And
you know what sold me on Grant Cardone? This was way back in 2014 or 15. I don't know what happened, but he ended up in the hospital for a couple days, and I think he had an IV in his arm, but he had a real estate deal to go close, and they're like, no, you can't leave. He's like, no, I got a deal to close. He took the IV out of his arm and he went out, he closed the deal, and then came back into the hospital bed, and the doctors, they all thought he was crazy. And he went on Facebook and he's like, who's got my money?
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude he's raw, he's authentic, and yeah.
Just like you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So how can people find you, man?
So I'm on Instagram,
yep.
Dylan_Brannon,
I'll put links below.
Brannon. That's on Instagram. Dylan Brannon on Facebook, and then also Dylan Brannon on YouTube. And the business brand, or the brand that I've created, it's basically like a lifestyle business type real estate brand, where I coach people that are anywhere from 15 years old to 25. That's really the main people who contact me. But even people that are 30, 35, 40, 50 years old, my parents' friends, people that never been exposed to what I'm learning, and they're learning too. And basically I teach them how to go from having no job to getting a 9-to-5, and then go from a 9-to-5 to starting your own business, and then generate that business to a 6-figure company within the first year, and then hopefully a 7-figure company in year 2, year 3. But ultimately, once you get the businesses where you want them to go, then you take the extra capital and then you invest it into the multifamily real estate, which is on the back end. It's the long-term wealth. You can get rich selling real estate, and you can get rich off businesses and whatnot. but ultimately you'll become wealthy by buying real estate or buying a long-term asset, cash producing asset on the back end. So it's, 9 to 5 business and then real estate, and then just you have your business and real estate, and they go hand in hand together, because the more money you make on your businesses, the more money you can invest into real estate, which you can grow your portfolio. And like what Grant says is cash is shit. And this is something that shocked me, because I've been raised, growing up thinking that cash is everything. Cash is not everything. Cash flow is everything. Monthly residual income, daily, weekly, monthly, any sort of income that comes in on a residual basis.
Dude, he is so informed.
Is king, So.
I like every time I see Dylan, whether we're at the GIE Expo or some mastermind event, he's not complaining about things that aren't working. He's just talking about the great information that he's getting and how he's doing this thing that's going to work. Like, even if you haven't done it yet, you already know that's what you're doing, and you're doing it. And every time I run into you, you've done it.
Yeah.
And that's that no limit mentality, bro.
Absolutely.
What to close up here, what's like a piece of advice you would give for a guy he's stuck and he's like, it's not working, I don't see how I'm gonna make this work, it's impossible. How do they make that become a possibility in their brain so they can get it like you're doing it? Get
around people that are doing better than you. Simple as that. Whether you have to pay for it, or whether you can go up to your local network.
He said whether you have to pay for it, right?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I want to add something to this, because paying for it, most people, they think it's a lot of money, but when you realize you can learn 30 years of information within 3 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour.
You compress time.
And that's what Grant talks about, is how can you shorten time? What it took somebody 20, 30, 40 years to learn, you can learn in 30 minutes to an hour, or 3 days to, a week. You can learn it, but you have to pay for it, because obviously it took them that much time to, get that information. They're not just going to give all of it out for free. So I've learned a lot of information for free, and I've also paid for a lot of information. I mean, one of the tickets that I bought for one of Grant's events was $5,000. 3.5 years ago, I could never even fathom spending $5,000 on a ticket just to go learn. Not on a piece of equipment, not on a business or anything, just to learn something. And ultimately, if I were going to leave somebody here with a piece of advice that they could, if they're stuck in that mindset, there's 3 of the best investments you can make, and this is in my case, is yourself, your business, and real estate. Everything else after that's extra, stocks, all that stuff. But the real solid stuff that you can never go wrong if you invest in, if you kind of know what you're doing, is yourself, which is your knowledge. You pay to go to events, you go to networking meetings. That's one thing that helped me talk better and learn how to explain myself a lot better in front of professionals and talk professionally, is getting in network groups in my local city. And then your businesses, investing in your business and getting more employees, buying equipment, trying to become more professional, collar, t-shirt,
with the button down.
Yeah, with the button down. But even with your guys, invest into your guys, because ultimately, as long as you invest into those 2 things, yourself and your business, ultimately you can't go wrong, because you're going to learn. Even if you make mistakes, those mistakes are very valuable. And
you know what? As this guy's talking, I actually see you standing in front of like a whiteboard with a group in front of you, and you actually teaching live. I see it the way you're moving your hands. It's in your blood. It's in your DNA.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that, aren't you?
Absolutely. It's funny, because we've already been getting content and stuff with that, and that's ultimately the goal. There is to be able to provide as much value as possible. To the guy that started just like where I was at. Like I said, 3.5 years ago, started with nothing. Started with no knowledge of business, no knowledge of real estate, no knowledge at all. And another crazy thing, this is a shocker I'll throw in here. I don't have a GED. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a college degree. I don't have a real estate agent's license. I don't have a general contractor's license. But yet I was able to grow a business and generate, multiple 6 figures. I was able to buy a piece of real estate that's, more than I could think of. It's a little bit over $500,000 now. It was the piece of real estate that I bought. It produces me income. and I get to live for free. So it's, you know, financial freedom. And I don't have any of those credentials that you're raised growing up to think that you need to become successful. So there's no excuse. You can literally start from zero, start from nothing with no credentials, and you can go to, there is no limit. So you can go to the top. You can basically go to wherever you want. There is no limit.
All right. One more time, how can people find you? Dylan Brannon.
Yep. Instagram, Dylan_Brannon. Facebook, Dylan Brannon. YouTube, Dylan Brannon. And you guys can follow me on there for more content and more advice.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that case study. Dylan Brannon, all around lawn and landscape, Cape Canaveral, Florida. Jesus, Cape Canaveral, Florida. This dude is a straight up savage, and also he has humility. He's a student, and he's already moving into contribution, which is like the highest level you can do at 24. Proud of you, dog.
Appreciate it, man. It's a pleasure.
You guys go out there and get it and crush it. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.
Peace.